right? The knuckleheads, the ones that thought I had an L across my forehead for loser. They wine you, they dine you, they take you out, and they dump you. Don't wine and dine people and then dump them. You know, my husband, you know, when he first took us on my first date, look, I'm used to champagne. I'm from New York, right? So I'm used to champagne and the limos and jewelry and all that. My husband took me to Hardee's. Like hamburger and French fries.
That's a real one.
The second date, he took me to Cowtown, which is a flea market in Jersey.
Yeah.
32 years. 30, and you know what? And I know this is bad. Valentine's Day, I don't celebrate on the day, like, because it's 50% off, now it's 75% off. And I told Malik, I'm tired. Wait till the next week, just tell her.
One applause. Yes. My ministry.
You ain't heard that from me. That's the title of today's podcast. You ain't heard it from me.
Antoinette said.
She gonna be like, who's Antoinette?
Start with advice, like the Dear Abbeys and raising your son, because ladies that have sons, they're gonna go and they're gonna learn and they're gonna be with someone else. Dads with sons and daughters, so just because they're not gonna listen to you. I can tell Malik something and he won't listen. But he goes down the street to Mr. Reggie. Mr. Reggie can say the same thing. And he's like, man, yeah, you're right. So put it in a podcast. Create a father-son podcast, a father-daughter podcast. In addition to what you have, because the power of a podcast. This is your living legacy. How much money does Ancestry.com make when people want to find out who they're related to? Sit down and talk about it. Share it. We ain't gonna be, no one's leaving this world alive, all right? So don't, here today, gone today, Nana was here till she was 98. Gloria was here till she was 29. The dash in between. I was born in 1961. I don't know when I'm leaving this world, but the dash in between is how I want you guys to remember me. That dash in between. Who was she? She said she was a Delaware blogger. She was a Delaware podcaster. All right. She had some words of wisdom back then. So again, use your voice, your power, your knowledge, and don't let anybody say, oh, we don't want to hear that, or oh, we already know that. No, they don't. Because we're all coming from a different environment. I was raised in the 60s in the Rochelle. What I grew up with is nothing like the way you were raised, how you were brought up, but we probably ate similar meals, similar activities. We all went to, barbecues, cookouts, but there's things that we looked at differently. Like, the biggest thing now is, would you put, what is it, the potato salad thing? Like, raisins and carrots. Oh my God, would you put that? Right. So that kind, but when Auntie made it, she put her foot in it, right? She put those raisins in there, she put the carrots. So don't tell me that I can't have raisins and carrots. I don't but I'm saying, there's always that information that we can share. We're different decades, but we have similar experiences, but we can put our spin on it. So imposter syndrome, no, don't buy into imposter syndrome. Everyone is unique. That's why we all have different fingerprints, all have different DNA. You may look like me, I may look, oh girl, you look like my cousin, but we ain't even related. We ain't never met each other. Girlfriend here, I never met her, but I feel like she's my cousin. Like she's my little sister, because that's just how it is. And then once we're here together talking and learning and doing more, that's what your podcast is doing. That is the relationship that is building. You are creating an intimate relationship with your listeners, and you don't want to let them down, because now they like you and love you. And don't let this download stuff drive you to stop.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Thank you. Say it again, please.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. If you touch one person, if you touch one person, if you help one person, you help 5 people, 3 people, you are doing your job. God has given you a gift. That gift is life. And what you do with that life is your gift back to Him. Pay it forward. Share. And use this free technology to push people there. Use the Facebook, use the Twitter, use the Instagram, because you know what? people are gonna be there and be consistent, right? These numbers don't lie. These numbers I pulled up last week, they're probably up. What? On Facebook. I'm gonna turn to my back. I'm gonna take a picture of my butt. I'm telling you, I'm ever ready. Facebook, 2.9 billion. That's what a B. That's a lot of people. I just want 1%, a minute percent. Can you imagine? On the gram, 1 billion. Oh my God. And you know, as humans, we love pictures. We love moving objects. We have the attention span that less of a goldfish. 7 seconds and less. We jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing. So if I'm seeing pictures and images, I'm gonna jump over there. Twitter, again, it's fast. Growing. LinkedIn, these numbers are real. These are real numbers that change each and every day. And if you have just a little bit of your podcast on 1 or 2 of these platforms, you're reaching people. And you may not reach them today, but maybe 6 months from now, you may reach somebody. So, you know, we're in this microwave instant. It don't work that way. I have people reaching out to me that I met like 5 years ago. I'm like, hey Antoinette, you remember when you did such and such? I'm like, no, because I'm like that, right? You can't remember. They're like, but you helped us or you spoke at such and such event. I think maybe a reason I'm here today is because of something I did previously, right? The reason why you're here is because of things that you've been reading about this organization. It's not something you was flipping through the, you know, your phone last night and you read about it, like, oh, I need to go. No, you've been following, you've been looking, you've been checking it out. And that's what people are doing on social. You know, people don't go to social media to be sold to, they go to socialize. So when you're promoting yourself, don't just new episode, new episode, new episode, new episode. What is your episode doing? Janet Jackson says it best. What have you done for me lately? What pain point are you solving? So I love green shirts. When we come back to the green shirts, I love green shirts. I don't know who likes green shirts. I need to find a group that loves green shirts. I'm just using that like a dumb analogy, right? So I'm gonna find a podcast on green shirts. And when I come, hey, now I found my tribe. We got a bunch of people that like green shirts, right? And we got a lot of Cowboy fans or Eagles fans or Piston fans or Boomers or whatever. So again, you have to build up that tribe. You have to be consistent. And these people are out there. They used to say we bought it on social media. Seniors were the #1 social media surfers years ago. Because see, we always have to check it out first.
Yeah.
You know, we don't just jump. You know, y'all just be like, oh yeah, okay, download this app. Y'all, chillax. Wait, see what's going on first. Like the caricature ones, right? They want you to sign out with your name, your birthday, your address. They don't need your social security number. They just need some vitals so that you can turn your image into a caricature. Really? You're gonna give away all that information so you can just have a cool filter on your picture? I think not. Be careful. I tell my husband all the time, let me see that link. Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see that. Because people are out here to get your identity, your money, your brand. And what I say, your brand is your bond is your brand, and it has to be right and tight. So make sure whatever you're going out there and you're doing it right and you're being consistent in it. Because you want people to come to you. You got that podcast. What's the foundation? You got a website, you got links, you know, tabs. You gotta have that, right? So when you're sharing, you can share the links to those platforms on social media. Linktree ID is one. There's others that you can just use one link, right? Just go to Linktree ID and you got my podcast, my blog. You know, you don't need to give out all that information over and over again. Send the people one-stop shop. Keep it simple. Stupid. KISS, that's what it stands for. I'm not calling you stupid, but KISS it. Keep it simple. If I said, what's your name? Marquise. What's your Facebook platform? What's your Twitter platform? What's your Insta? You know, you give me all these overscore in here. I'm confused. I'm going on to the next person because I can't remember what you just told me, right? So if you have more, you know, with your podcast, your social media, make that easy. Keep it simple. Stupid. No, they call you stupid. But keep it simple. So when you're on social media, you only have to put one link. And you know what happens on Facebook. Facebook don't want you to leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to leave. So you don't put the link in the description, you can go in and put it in the comments. Because they see that activity. They're seeing the activity. And please, y'all, like, retweet your own posts. Star your stuff, please. You can do that. They don't know it's you. That's the last thing they care about. So you put a post out there and you schedule it to go again tonight. When it comes out again tonight, using, schedule Promo Republic or Hootsuite or Buff or whatever you're using, like it, share it. Did you check it out? Have you heard? That's building more noise, giving out more information. It's like a pebble in the pond. You throw the pebble in the pond and you have the ripples. That's what's happening. It's the ripples. The audience, you're building your audience. Because we all know, God bless our friends and our family. But they are not our biggest supporters. They will show you Rihanna's birth, Beyonce's shoes, Kanye's head boots. But you say, I have a podcast, I have a business, will you share this?
Why do they like it?
They won't.
I don't think
But they'll send you a link to somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Have you heard this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all. I'm like,
I do this too.
you guys, right? No, but have you heard this podcast? Right?
Podcast. Why are you sending me their podcast? They were guests on mine. What are you doing?
I know, right? Don't you love that? I know. It's like, what are you talking about, right? It's amazing. But what do they say? A prophet is not honored in his own land. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I wrote a blog post about that years ago. There are two schools of thought. Either they don't want to see you fail, or they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm like, that's nice, you're doing that, that's nice, good job, that's nice, okay, you're doing a good job. Right. Or they feel some kind of way because they're so close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't even understand. When I sold Avon for like 20 years, I had one aunt. God rest her, she's 88. She bought for me, she would buy a spoon. I knew. Aunt Chucky, you ready? Yep, she placed an order. Other family members, they be buying from other people. Like, anybody know where you get some Skin So Soft? Yeah, I sell it. Been selling Skin So Soft for 20 years. Right? They won't do it. But they'll go to Target. Let me go to Target. Girl, look what I got at Target. Look what I got at Walmart. But I make soaps and I sell soaps. And you just bought Dove, like the cancer-causing carcinogen, Dove, but you won't buy, what my grandma taught me from the homeland. So yeah, we want them, but don't. Gotta let you go. But just in case you hear somebody looking for a podcast, let them know. But that's what's happening. So create that one link that you can share. Videos, audiograms, we know about that, right? It's the movement. Those sound waves, people moving, you want to see that. Because again, we have the attention span that less of a goldfish. So when you are promoting your podcast, have an image, and we know that. Now here's something I always tell people also, is you have one logo for your podcast, right? Everybody knows that's the podcast. But for each episode, you should have a different cover art. Mm-hmm. And I always say, like, you go to the record, back in the day, we go to the record shop, right? That's right. We looking at albums. We were looking for the Commodores, we were looking for, Earth, Wind and Fire, we were looking for the Jackson 5. They had a different album cover, but we knew who they were, and then we'd flip it and see what songs were on there. If people are still seeing Michael Jackson's Christmas album over and over and over, and he can have different songs, or you're gonna buy that, you're gonna flip past that album. Because you've seen it, and you've seen it, and you've seen it, and people are really not gonna take time to flip it over and read what the episode's about. So have that one logo, but for each episode, have a different cover art, because that will get the attention quicker than them seeing the same thing over and over again. So on social media, have a different image. Have a picture of that has not even your logo. It could be something that you created in Canva or Adobe or whatever, but switch it up because again, humans are very visual. We're very visual. We love, I'm looking at your shirt, we love to see, what's going on, the orange, the color, the bright. We want to see that. That's just our culture. We come from bright, big, bold jewelry, big colors. We want to see that. So share that. Change it up. And if you want, put your little logo in the bottom someplace so people know and trust that that's who it is. But yeah, flip that album cover, do that. And emails. Man, emails are golden. People always trying to sell you emails, right? You got people in India saying, we'll sell you 1 million emails for $2.99. They want to get in your email box. Because not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's on Twitter. Not everybody's on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. But I bet you, dollars to donuts, everybody has an email account. And everybody goes and checks their email. Whether they delete it or read it or share it or whatever. Get in their email box. You're getting it, it's like walking down the street, putting your card in everybody's mailbox, right? They're gonna look at it. Okay, I'll look at it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if you can get in their email box, you got them. At least you got a way to get to them. On Facebook, you might miss something. On Twitter, you might miss something. But normally, and newsletters. Do you know the best time to send out a newsletter? Have you played around with it? Again, old school, Sunday morning, get that newspaper, that cup of coffee, that bagel, that donut, whatever, you flip it through the paper. Sunday mornings, before you get, before you get your week started, before you go to church, to the mosque, or whatever you're going. No, not to the mosque, I'm sorry. That's my husband. My husband's a Muslim, I'm sorry. I always always say both. But yeah, Sunday morning, 7 a.m., set it up. Constant Contact, MailChimp, whatever one you use. 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, people are gonna open up their emails before they go to church or before they go to brunch, and they're gonna see it. If you've got a new email there, they may take a look at it. So that's a good time. So make sure you have it. And you know what? You don't have to do them every week. Once a month. I like to do a wrap up. How many of you like to do the wrap up, the best episodes of the month? Right, or the best episodes, right, in case you missed it. So that's a great time, in case you missed it, you put your 4 episodes in or whatever, and then your call to action, that, CTA. What do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do. From the time I came in this world, I was told what to do. My mother told me what to do. My father told me what to do. My grandmom told me what to do. My husband tried to tell me what to do, but I don't be listening. But tell people what you want to do. Read it, share it, promote it, retweet, like it, heart it, do whatever. Always tell people what to do while you're talking within your podcast, as well as at the end, in the beginning. Let people know. Review it. Buy me a cup of coffee, whatever. You have to tell people what to do. And if you're doing this consistently, eventually, they will do it. Not right away, because it has to be that know, like, and trust factor, right? I don't know you, and you told me to do this, but if I'm following you and I'm listening to you, guess what? Christopher told me to do it, right? Christopher, I'm gonna do it, all right? He told me to do it. He said it's gonna be good, and I trust him because I've been listening, I've been following him, and he's consistent. I can look on every brand that he has, his Facebook, his LinkedIn, his profile, his podcast. You're consistent, and you got a picture, and a face that I can trust. But anyway, so I'm gonna know, like him. I love this. So I'm gonna like him, and then I'm gonna trust him. And so if Christopher says, Antoinette or listeners, when you're in Atlanta, stop at the beautiful restaurant, I'm gonna look it up. Because guess what? I've been following Christopher, he recommended it, I'm gonna do it. So that's what it is, consistency, 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 and tell people what you want them to do. You may think that it's natural, like you. Somebody's gonna send you a podcast of a guest who's on somebody else's podcast. Like, she was on my podcast too, right? So what's up with that? Like, I'm getting ready to interview, you guys heard about Haley Taylor Schlitz, the 19-year-old girl who just graduated, the youngest African-American lawyer who just graduated from law school. She's my sorority sister, SG Rowe. She's 19 years old. She was on Cameron Hall. She's been all over the place. So I sent an email message and said, hey, I would love to have you on podcast. Fine. So she's gonna be on my podcast like in June. But she's already been on so many other people's podcasts. So I'm gonna promote the other people's podcasts and say, stay tuned, because Haley's gonna be on my podcast. So you can do that way. So you know what? Thanks for sharing, that show with me. By the way, check out mine. And you can use that in the comments of the person that sent you that post. Tag them, saying, yeah, she's gonna be on my show too, or he's gonna be on my show too. So use those free platforms, use those audiograms, because again, we have to see things move. We like to see things move. And so we wanna make sure, what do I got until? 11 o'clock, I'm good. So we want to see movement. We want to see those audiograms. Right, what time are we supposed to get out of here?
10:45 plus Q&A.
What time is it?
10:30.
Oh, okay, I'm good, I'm almost done, yeah! Yeah! Get that time to go get coffee and juice and all that, wake up, whatever. But yeah, so use those images, use those audiograms, use quotes. Grab a quote from something that was in that show and create something unique. Again, I'm gonna always go back to Canva, because I love Canva. How many people use Canva? I love Canva. You can create quotes and, all kinds of things. So take a quote, if you want to. What's that pain point that you're solving? What is the Today Show about? Is it informational, inspirational, motivational? Is it gonna make you laugh, cry? What's it gonna do? Are you ready to? Those commercials. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing the same 10 pounds? You've seen them, If you're from New York, you remember Crazy Eddie, the commercial, talk about you need this. Okay, so be a Crazy Eddie. Create a, something flashy. Are you sick and tired of, going through this? Are you sick and tired of going to conferences and not listening to Antoinette? You gotta check it out, right? So get them, images, quotes, that brings brand awareness, and that brand is what? Your brand is your bond is your brand, and it's gotta be right and tight. So you wanna make sure that you're sharing things, you're letting people know. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? When you're on social, again, do you. It doesn't always have to be about your podcast. It does not have to be about your podcast. Again, I'm a foodie. I love taking pictures of food. So on my gram, you're gonna see, the cover art for the podcast, but you're gonna see that catfish. Snap. You want to see that catfish, because that catfish was good. I'm gonna have that forever, and I'm gonna maybe put it on Facebook, because even though I don't like Facebook, one thing I do like about Facebook is they give you those memories, right? So they pop up in your feed like, damn, I really took that picture. What was I thinking wearing that? I hate those pictures, and I thought I was cute. Oh my God, no. Or I'm old school. I don't buy a whole lot of clothes. I'm gonna put the same outfit on the day that it popped up on my feed. I'm like, I'll be ding dang. Let me take that out of my suitcase. I'm not wearing that outfit because I'm gonna pop up. Like, is that today or was that 3 years ago? Like, hey, I still got the same outfit. It looked good then. It look good now, but I changed up. All right, cool. So interact with others. How many of you are part of groups or you have your own group? Those are the best places, because you get information and you can share, because we're all at different levels in our podcasting career. You might be a newbie, you might be a year in, you might be 2 years in, and people just, again, this is a community. People want to know, that you can share information with each other. And oh, by the way, if you look on the app, I put the presentation in there under the articles. Yeah, so you can pull this up whenever you want. You won't have me doing it for you, but you call me out, find me out. But it's in there, so this whole thing is there for you. So again, make sure that you interact with others. Share. And you don't just drop your link and run. No. Be the subject matter expert. Because not everybody knows everything, right? It changes. Does anybody know about such and such? And you can say, yeah, I do. Here's a contact for you. And you're not promoting yourself, you're promoting somebody else. So what you put out, you're going to get back, right? So get in those groups, create those groups, share, learn. This is the conference. This is major. I've never been to a podcast conference. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, I did the one online, but it was Zoom. I'm sick and tired. And tired and sick of Zoom. I'm like, this Brady Bunch stuff. Stop! I'm like, you sitting there looking at yourself. You ain't paying attention to nobody. Yeah, whatever. Instagram, Twitter, hashtag, right? Remember, we used to call the pound sign, right? The number sign, the pound sign. Look, share, use those to not only search, but also add so people can find you. You know, always on the gram, put in those hashtags, put it, you know, on Twitter, so that people are literally searching. And right now, shouldn't we be using the hashtag Blk Pod Festival? Like, we should be using that hashtag on everything that we're posting, so that the people that set this up can go back years from now. Those hashtags will still be there, you know, and you can pull up and see, you know, Pod Festival, Blk Pod Festival 2022, 2023, you know, on and on and on. So use those hashtags, so everything, and use your hashtag, Delaware Blogger, because you don't own a hashtag, but you can use it enough that it becomes yours. Like, I'm not the only Delaware blogger, but I bet you a cup of coffee that if you Google Delaware blogger, I'm gonna show up all over the place. Try it. Yeah, do it right now. No, let me stop. But yes, because I use it consistent, you know, foodie, whatever. Use those things. Podcast host, podcast guest, podcast life, Black podcaster, African American podcaster, podcaster in Atlanta, podcast, you know, coach, because people are looking for podcasts. So use those, whatever your podcast is about, Christian podcasts, you know, school podcasts, you know, whatever podcast, and, you know, put that on your LinkedIn. And yes, put it on Facebook too. They say you can't, but put it on Facebook. Just be like the hot sauce. Put that ish on everything. LinkedIn groups. What's your name?
Me?
Yes.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. LinkedIn groups, they're great. So if you get on LinkedIn, you find, you have your profile, then start searching for those LinkedIn groups. And you can find those conferences, you can find those groups, you can find those people, you can find those resources. Because LinkedIn, now you got a couple of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you know, you befriend them and they're like, girl, you look good, you need a sugar daddy?
Yes, I do.
Block. Block. Or, hey girl, you know, you need my business. Block, delete. But on LinkedIn, 9 times out of 10, I know, don't you hate that, right? It's crazy. But 9 times out of 10,
Sign up.
oh, no, okay, hashtag sugar daddy,
Yeah.
sign up.
February 13th, 14th, and 15th.
That's right, go ahead, exactly. So again, you'll find people if that's their interest, again, but on LinkedIn, that's not where you want those sugar, well, you might.
They got the money.
Yeah, you never mind.
They got the money.
But again, that's what you're looking for. You're gonna find the one with the money,
Yeah, that's
honey,
true.
on there, not on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. You know, those are just fun and games. But that's where you're gonna find, you know, President Obama. That's where you're gonna find, you know, Bill Gates. That's where you're gonna find the mover, the sugar. What's his name? Wife is giving away all that money. I mean, she's just giving away money. She's trying to find. Yeah, she's Bezos' wife. She can't give away enough money. Every time she blinks her eyes, she's making money. She gives money to all kinds of charities, right? Follow her. See what she's talking about. You got something going on? Keep, you know, fine. And your 2 cents is very important. Give your 2 cents. What I say when you start on LinkedIn, kind of stalk. Don't just jump out there and say, oh, here I am, share all this stuff. Follow your groups, follow the people. And then when you can have something that you can intelligently offer, then offer it, right? Put your 2 cents, you know, where they say, because they give you the option just to click, happy birthday or congratulations. Set it up. Happy birthday, you know, hope you have a blessed day. You know, take 2 minutes out of your time, because people are taking their time to post on social media, and they want you, if they feel like you're taking time out of your schedule, your busy schedule to respond, then there's some interest there. You know, just hitting the standards is cool. But on a Sunday, while you're chillaxing, say, hey, I'm going on LinkedIn, I'm going on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm just gonna start going through my feed. And I'm gonna say, oh, glad, congratulations, you know, continued success, you know, just, you know, acknowledge them by their name. Do you know what it feels like when someone says, hey, Antoinette, I appreciate, you know, all that you've done. You get an email like, hey, you. I'm like, you don't even know me. How you call me, hey, you? I get that all the time. Like, people want me to sponsor stuff on my blogs like, hey is for horses. My name ain't Hey. You know, acknowledge me, respect me. Hello, Mrs. Blake. That means you research. You guys know I've been married, I have kids. You know to address me. You ain't gonna be like, hey, you, lady, come here. I'm gonna look at you like, hey, you what? So again, take time out. Jennifer, it was great that we're connected. If you're looking for somebody, take out 2 minutes. 2 minutes is amazing. So take out a little bit of time on those groups. You'll get those business opportunities. And again, when you're looking for those famous guests, they're there. Because just like the big companies that didn't jump on the social media bandwagon like the little guys did, the business leaders are still, oh my God, she's a podcast host. He's a you know what podcast means? That's like power. It's like you own your own radio station, your own TV station. They want to jump on that bandwagon. They want to be a part of something that's hot. And if you're a podcast host, I'd like to have you on my show. You'd be surprised who's going to find you and who's going to want to be on your show. And you never know. And you guys do release forms, right? You might have little Onetta, and then she becomes Oprah. And now you gotta interview with Onetta, who's now Oprah, and you own it and all the rights. So make sure you give them a release, and I can use your audio and your visual and everything else in perpetuity. So make sure, right? Because Onetta might be Oprah, and you be bank, right? Collaborate. This is what you're doing right now. You're collaborating. You guys have invested in yourself. We've all invested. I got sick as a dog on the plane. I haven't been on a plane since 2018. I've been flying since I was a baby. I was sick as a dog, and I'm like, ew, why am I sick? Maybe because I'm nervous. No, I was sick. I don't know. I'm getting old. I don't know. But I'm invested. And I'm so excited to be here today. I'm so excited that I'm meeting all of you guys today. So collaborate, whether it's at a conference, on a group, whatever. Collaborate with other podcasters, whether it's on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Use those platforms. I'm not talking about just dropping your podcast, dropping the episode, but use those free platforms to connect and collaborate and increase your listeners, increase your audience. That's what you're doing. That's that pebble in the pond. That's what you're really using social media for, to socialize and connect. Not to be sold to, but to connect. 'Cause you never know who you meet on Facebook. The friend you meet on Facebook today may be that financer, down the line, right? Because they remembered you, they came to hear you, you left them some messages, it's a good. So use that, it can be, and we know podcasting can be lonely. How many of you do solo at home? And right, it can be, Sometimes you just put a mirror in front of you and talk to yourself, hey, how you doing? Because that energy comes out in your voice. So use that mirror. Because sometimes you gotta be consistent. You gotta put that show out. And I don't wanna do it. Well, put the mirror in front of you and start talking. And look at yourself and say, thank God, I'm here, another day. Here we go. And if you're looking at yourself, it will really turn your mood around, because it can be very, very lonely. I do all my shows solo. Again, that Brady Bunch Zoom is getting on my last nerve. But that is a way to connect, so you bring the people in. But if you're doing a solo show and you're in the closet, or the bathroom, the powder room, in the fort and all that, wherever you start, I've done it every place. That came out wrong. Cut that. I've done it everywhere. Right? In the closet, in the powder, and people don't know. It's like we sold our house, right? And we got another house. We had to live in an apartment. So there's all 4 of us in the apartment, right? I'm like, where am I going to do my podcast? So we went to the dollar store. We got a big piece of cardboard. Got the hamper. Put the hamper there. Put the toilet seat down. I sat on the toilet seat. Had my laptop. Had my mic and everything. Had my earbuds on. And here I'm sitting on the toilet in the room. I'm not on the toilet like that. But they didn't know. They didn't see it. But I put those towels around. I had the towels in there so they could absorb the sound. I've done it that way. If you want to create a fort under the table, nobody sees you, but then you can go into the studio. And I have a studio in Middletown, it's all set up and everything. So you can do all kinds of things. And I'm sure today people will talk about, the isolation booths and all that stuff, the padding, the best way to do it. Moving blankets are the best. Grab some moving blankets. Those are so good. If you do it in the car, do it in the car. That sounds terrible. Don't do it in the car because there's too much glass. But if you're interviewing someone and they're in the car, no Bluetooth, and if they can, have them have a comforter to absorb that echoey sound, and definitely not in the parking lot, anything like that. So, you know, this is lonely, but you can do it. And again, I have all kinds of checklists and you know, things like that. Just send me an email. I don't know what it is. And send me an email. I have a 7-step podcast checklist, whether you want to use it or not. I've got podcast checklists, book, all kinds of cool things. You know, send me email, say, hey Antoinette, I want the checklist, I want everything that you've ever written, and I'll load up your email box before you leave today. This is also a great sheet. Okay, so this also have, and it's just like a sample of stuff you can post on various sites. Again, you got that as part of your article. This is just really like samples. You know, on Monday do this, Tuesday do that. Mix it up. You know, just like, you know, create a little mix up and do that. And that's me. That's my QR code. That's me too, with different hair. Yeah, that was last week's hair. This is this week's hair. And I appreciate you guys very much. I'm sorry I ran late. I love to talk. But if you have any questions, please like text them to me, whatever. I definitely appreciate you. And I want a group shot before you leave.
Okay, that's
That's it.